channel. My name is Tamara, and today I am going to answer some questions. These are commonly asked questions about particularly military spouses and military wives, that when I was looking at these questions, I was like, these questions are very interesting. Maybe I can try to help somebody try to answer some of these questions. And I'm going to leave these questions in the description box of the questions that I have written down. So the first one is, why is it hard being a military wife? So I feel that it's hard being a military wife, and I really should say spouse, but I'm going to say wife because I'm a wife. Because sometimes you have to do things by yourself. Sometimes your spouse is not there with you. And yeah, sometimes you are left kind of, by yourself. So I feel like that's one reason it can be hard, and also having to move and not really have any support system, know anyone, that can be hard. But yeah, your spouse leaving, traveling, if you have children to take care of, if you're working, you're doing all that stuff, and sometimes you feel like you're by yourself, that can make it, kind of hard. Number 2 is benefits of being a military wife. I just got done filming a video. I'm going to link it at the bottom of this video. But really quickly, the benefits of being a military wife. That is just so funny to me, because I swear when people think of like military spouse and military, think of benefits, which you do get benefits. So I'm just going to run down some benefits really quickly. So enlisted, active duty, meaning like you're active, you're not in the reserves or anything like that. So I'm speaking from that aspect because my husband is active in the military. So you get free, well, depending on what type of insurance you have, but for the most part, you have TRICARE Prime. You get free insurance. You don't have to pay for your insurance. You don't have to pay for medical bills. You don't have to pay for medications. What else? So yeah, you don't have to, dental insurance. So we do pay for our dental insurance. Well, my husband pays for it. But it's very cheap. I think it might be $35 or $40 a month for my whole entire family, if that. What else? Benefits. You get BAH, which is a housing allowance. You get BAS, which is a food allowance. You get military discounts. You can shop at the commissary. We don't shop at the commissary. We used to, but we don't really shop at the commissary anymore. Let's see, what other benefits? Certain schools. I'm in a doctoral program, and they, certain schools give you a military discount, but I'll say it made me laugh because my doctoral program, it stops at the master's level. Once you get over master's level, like doctoral, they don't give you a discount. But some schools do give you a military discount. And a lot of schools are very military friendly, so they give you discounts, give you like some incentives if you're a military member or spouse. There are a lot of employers who receive tax write-offs, certain incentives for hiring military spouses. So that's awesome. You can work for the VA and use like military spouse privilege. You have to have a copy of your husband's or spouse's orders, some other stuff too, but that's a benefit. What's another benefit? I think that's it. That's all I can think of for the benefits. Why don't military wives work? I'm sorry, some of these questions are just like so funny to me, because I can kind of like, I've heard a lot of like the stereotypical things. I've heard some of the stereotypical things. It's just really funny to me. But why don't military wives work? So I will say that I believe that some military wives don't work because if your spouse is always gone and you have children, it will be very hard for you to balance working and being able to pick up your child and having work-life balance if your spouse is always gone. Now, if you have a flexible job that just kind of understands, you kind of make your own hours, then it is easier for you. And I'm speaking from experience. There was a point in time where I was working in a hospital, so I was seen as essential personnel. My husband's essential personnel. But if something happens, and let's say, because no matter the weather, they wanted to stay at the hospital. So it's like, okay, well, both of us are expected to come in, but my husband's job takes priority over my job. At that time, I was seen as a civilian, so I had to stay home, So certain sacrifices, especially if you're considered essential, you can't work from home. you kind of, it's hard. You feel a lot of times you feel like you have to choose between working and being, you know, and staying with your children and stuff like that. So I honestly feel like that's the number one reason, because it's hard to balance. I've seen many of, you know, wives say like, hey, how do y'all do this? How do y'all do that? Have y'all had this issue? Have y'all had? And it's like, yeah, we've ran into it. Like, yeah. So honestly, I feel like that is one of the main reasons why a lot of military wives don't work, because it's very hard to be able to balance that and having to be like around the clock. There is no, hey, can you leave base? Can you leave work and go pick up? Like 9 times out of 10, it's going to be, you know, the wife, the mom, or the other spouse that is going to go run and pick up, you know, that child, because they're essential. Like their work comes first, unless it's like life or death or something. But other than that, they're looking at you to handle it. So oh, can military wives live on base? So I am going to say this because I was in the Air Force, my husband in the Navy, but of course when we got together, we got married, we weren't on base. I want to say yes, but it's only going to be a short period of time, because as soon as you get married, you're eligible to move off base. So you can live on base, and you can live on military housing, but that's not necessarily like on base. But yeah, you can live on base, but usually right after you get married, you're able to move off base. Can military wives go to school for free? I touched on this in my last video, what every military spouse should know, so please go watch that. But if your spouse who is, you know, in the military has their GI Bill, then yes. And if they have 100% of their GI Bill, then yes, you should be able to go to school for free. So I definitely suggest having that conversation and talking to them about using some of their GI Bill to go to school for free. That's a great benefit. That's a great perk. So yes. Can military wives go on deployment? No. Military wives cannot go on deployment. Children cannot go on deployment. Only the military member can go on deployment. Now, when I think of deployment, in my mind, I think of like either on a ship, like going to Afghanistan, places like that. 9 times out of 10, like, you know, they're about to deploy. I wouldn't say no. I don't know anybody who's went on who has their military spouse has deployed and they went on deployment with them. Usually, like, their family stays here. Now, I do know of some people who technically, like, they're like, oh, they deployed to Guam, and sometimes they do give your family the option to go over there. And I guess that is kind of considered a deployment because you're like OCONUS. But for the purpose of this video and to be like brief, I want to say no. 9 times out of 10, if a spouse is deploying, you're not going with them. You're staying here. So I'm gonna tie in question 7 and question 8 together. Question 7 was, how do military wives cope? Question 8 talked about loneliness. So how do military wives cope? Like I talked about in my last video, I strongly suggest that military spouses have hobbies, have interests, do things to keep their mind occupied, because if your life revolves around your spouse, your significant other, and they're gone for 8-9 months, a year, deployment gets extended, and you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs, that's going to cause arguments. That's going to invite an idle mind. Have you ever heard the saying, an idle mind is the devil's playground? You don't want that. If you can work or go to school or do something that's positive to kind of pass that time, it'll make it go by so much quicker. So I strongly suggest that. And then talk about loneliness. So I feel like that goes back with that, because sometimes you can feel lonely if your spouse is gone. Now, I'm from where my husband is stationed at right now. So I have, and at my sorority, my chapter, my family, everybody's here. So I don't really feel lonely. But if he was to get stationed somewhere else, then I could possibly get lonely because I don't really know anybody there. But then that's when you have to start building your networks. And even now, I feel like with social media, you can meet people online or start certain like Facebook groups online, do like mommy meetups. I've done so many different like little mommy meetups, wife meetups. My vlog that will be posted, we did, I went to a military wives R&B and paint. It was so much fun. I met up with 2 of my sorority sisters. But it was so much fun. So in that group, I've met so many wonderful ladies, and we'll get up and we'll meet up. And one of the ladies that I met was my soror, which I didn't even realize that until she hit me up and was like, soror. I was like, oh, hey. But try to find hobbies, find like-minded, positive individuals, because it's so easy to get caught up in people who don't have a whole lot going on. And it might look so fun to be out there partying and turning up and all that stuff. But for me, I feel like I'm all about showing, you know, what I'm working for, what I'm working towards, right? So, you know, but yeah, try to stay busy, try to grow your network. And I will say, even though I'm talking to you all, I am a introvert. I feel like I'm an introverted extrovert. So I'm not one of those people that are just like, hi, my name is Tamara. Like, no, I am not one of those type of people. Like, I will, like, you know, kind of start a conversation, kind of, you know, but I'm more of a quiet observer. So, you know, but, you know, being online, like I said, Facebook groups, try to see if you have any Facebook groups in your area, any mommy meetups, common interests. If you can, you know, fly back, you know, or drive to an area if you're close to where you used to live, and try to visit family. But definitely keep yourself busy. Definitely keep yourself busy. Those are all the questions that I found that I was like, I can answer these questions. I hope that this video helped you. Please like, please comment, please subscribe, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.